My coronavirus is here. My corona. Hey, start it over. Getting used to this live stream here. Messing it up, man. We're mixing it up. Are we live? Is anybody out there? Tell me if you're out there. Give me a one if you're alive. So here we go, man. Let's talk about some stories today. Hey, Marcus Conte reporting. Early in the morning. Wake and bake with Marcus. We'll try something new, man. We'll try some early in the morning. Anybody in there? Anybody out there? Anybody with me early in the morning here in New York City? I know it's a little unusual, but I gotta turn off this music. Turn off the music. Cool, Marcus. Hey, what's up, Vinny? Man? I'll give you a wrench just in case. I don't expect any wise asses at this early in the morning. That's the thing about it, man. The morning is beautiful. It's beautiful in the morning in New York City. So let's take a look at some of the events, right? This my Corona shit. This fucking shit is dope, man. It's crazy, right? It's crazy because guess what? It's here. The United States has its first confirmed case of a new virus that appeared in Wuhan, China last month. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention announced Tuesday the coronavirus, the Ma Corona, has already sickened hundreds and killed people in Asia. You want to see my solution? It's my shit, right? I get on the subway in New York, man. Fuck that shit, man. I ain't getting no fucking Chinese. Because, if you're in the Midwest or something, or you're in the middle of the country to fly over, they say, there's no Chinese, man. You guys don't have your Chinese. All you guys are a Chinese restaurant. But here, we got Chinese up the ass, man. It's fucking everywhere you look, man. It's Chinese, man. Get on fucking Chinatown. It's Chinese everywhere, man. Put your mask on. Yo, don't give me your China. Shit is crazy, man, right? You got to wear a mask because it's contagious. That shit is contagious, man. So, hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Chris Conwell. Good morning, Eugene Collins. Good morning, Brad Porsartip. Working in. And Magadoobies, wake and bake. Yeah, man, we're going to do it. What's up, Vinny? It's scary. So you know what I'm saying? Like, we got this virus flowing in. It was initially just a scare. But CDC officials said the United States will be more strict about health screenings of airplane passengers arriving from Wuhan. Right? So we have it here. First United States' confirmed case of new virus appeared in Wuhan, China last month. Right? The coronavirus has already sickened hundreds and killed 6 people in Asia. I think I just read that already. I'll read it twice. The patient, who is not being named, is in isolation at Providence Regional Medical Center in Everett, Washington. He is in his 30s and lives in Snohomish County, Washington, just north of Seattle. He has recently returned from Wuhan. Oh, man, this shit is crazy. I told you, man. I said it yesterday. This shit is coming. Because whenever you have a communal disease striking communal areas like, not so much the center of China, but certainly in Thailand and Bangkok, whenever you got people coming and going, or in, New York, like, fucking, come on, Kennedy Airport, JFK, or in central New York, central Manhattan, people sneezing on each other in the subway, it's going to spread. It was so predictable. He arrived at Seattle. They also said that, I read something that said that it was transmitted. It can transmit from human to animal and from human to human. Wow, it's very contagious. It's like the SARS thing from 2002, 2003. So he arrived at Seattle Tacoma International Airport on January 15th before any health screenings for Wuhan coronavirus began at U.S. airports. He sought medical care On January 19th, the CDC and Washington State are now tracing the people he was in contact with to see if he may have spread the disease to someone else. We believe the risk to the public is low, said John Weissman, Secretary of Health for the state of Washington. How do you know that it's low? What's your assessment that it's a low risk to the public? How do you assess low? What the fuck is low? I mean, it's here. Right? Low would be something that's not contagious. That low is like something that is only sexually transmitted or transmitted through, blood diffusion. But something that is airborne, is not low risk. I mean, I hate to be blowing the alarm, but this is how this shit happens too, because then the authorities, something very contagious is in our air, and suddenly all of the authorities are saying, oh, no, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Go back to your cubicle. The building is not on fire. There's nothing to worry about, right? That's what happens. So, patient became ill, and this is the shittiest part, right? The patient became ill 4 days after arriving in the United States and sought care. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. He wasn't sick for 4 days. So you're traveling, you meet some ladies, the ladies that, do you have lady? You go to Thailand, you go to Bangkok, you have lady, and then all of a sudden you got a lady, right? And then you don't know nothing. You're only there for a week, right? And then you go back and you get on the plane, everything's cool, right? Nothing, right? Then you go back, you kiss your lovely wife and your lovely children, and you start sneezing your ass off, and you start coughing, and your lungs are filling up with fucking fluid. Right? That's how it happens. Right? So how is it a low risk? 4 days of no symptoms. Based on patient symptoms and travel history, doctors suspect the novel Wuhan coronavirus and sent specimens to CDC in Atlanta, where tests Monday for blah, blah, blah. The patient is faring well, but it's still being in isolation as an abundant blah, 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 bing, blah, blah. What's up, everybody? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So yeah, we got some. How do we look? I put the chat up on the right hand side so everybody could see it, and it's part of now lost your feed, Marcus. I lost the feed. I'm not live anymore. I'm not live. I think I'm live. I think we're live. Are we live? Are we still live? Are we still up? Still live? Are we still live? I'm back? Okay. All right. See, that's the thing about the live. See, that's the whole shit right there, right? The live thing is inconsistent. It's inconsistent. That's why I don't like to do it, right? So now I was just babbling away. I was giving you news. I'm giving you the story, right? And all of a sudden it crashes out, right? How fucked up is that, man? That's not news. When I do a recording, when I do a video and I post it, it's solid. It's there, it's there 100%. But now it's like, what the fuck, man? So, you know what I'm saying? So we're up and running. Give me a 1 if we're up and running. Please scream. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Well, fuck it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Remember? That guy said that shit, man. Fuck it. So let's get back to the story, I guess. Hey, listen, man. We crash. I don't know. Patients will be ill for 4 days. Did you hear that part of it? The patients are ill for 4 days. Patient is faring well. So soon patients from Wuhan to the United States, whether or direct or indirect flights, will only be allowed to land at one of the 5 U.S. airports during health screenings. Screenings include a temperature check. Rectal check. You got to bend over, get your temperature checked. The observation for symptoms, as coughing and trouble breathing. trouble breathing, right? But again, we just learned that no symptoms. Patient became ill 4 days after arriving. I'm repeating myself because I don't know what part of what I said got chopped. So I'll just say it again, man. I'll just say it again so you remember it. Person-to-person transmission of Wuhan virus. The Wuhan coronavirus is in the same family as severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, which killed more than 700 people in 2002 and 2003, the Middle East respiratory syndrome, or MERS. MERS and SARS. I don't remember MERS. I remember SARS. To date, the Wuhan coronavirus has infected more than 300 people and killed 6 in an outbreak that struck China, Thailand, South Korea, Japan, and now U.S. It's not known how many of the cases became infected from animals and how many from another person. It's not known how many of the cases became infected from animals. So it is transmittable. This is probably from the swine flu. You remember they had all the pigs were catching this virus and they were burying the pigs alive? How brutal. They had to kill off all the pigs because you can't eat them. But they were saying, actually, I remember there was actual reports that said, I'm up and down again. I don't know. Up and down, we're crashing again. We're crashing, so it's not a good connection, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you guys. I just keep going, you know. So, am I here? Give me a 1 if I'm here. Am I here? Am I here? I'll play a song while I'm waiting. Play a song. Give me a tune. Give me a 1 if we're up. Give me a 1 if we're up. 1. Thank you, Vinny. Oh, let's play this. This land is yours. Land is your land. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. I was walking Ribbon Highway. I saw above me the endless skyway. I saw below me the Golden Valley. This land was made for you and me. Roam and ramble, follow my footsteps. There you go, man. There you go. Music makes it all better. Music makes it better. So it's hard to do a report like this when you keep crashing out, right? I could just not pay attention to you guys and pretend that everything is cool, but it's not. That's not cool, right? So let's find out more about SARS. Here's a little report from some Asian people in Hong Kong. Check it out.
Should we be at this point?
Well, I think we should be concerned. The number of cases has been going up every day. But the good news is that we're getting information. We're getting much more information than we had at the beginning. And I think we're much more prepared than we were in 2003. The World Health Organization is convening an emergency meeting, and hopefully we'll get some guidance and direction from there.
Given your understanding of the history of similar viruses, whether it's H1N1 or SARS, in terms of the number of cases, given the extent of travel that we're going to see over the next 2 weeks in China, do we have an estimate in terms of where this could go, even as the authorities here step up their checks?
Well, you know, the extent of spread of the virus a lot of that is going to depend on public health interventions. And we saw that with SARS. You know, it was spreading in November 2002. And
that's Thailand, by the way. That's Thai script. That's not China. That's Thailand.
In March 2003, it suddenly spread all over
right there. That's Thai script right there.
The world. But what happened was the world got together, all the different countries that were involved got their act together, and eventually it disappeared from the world within 4 months. And that is actually a remarkable public health achievement. So, hopefully, if it does start spreading all over the world, I think we've learned some of the lessons from SARS, and hopefully we'll be able to keep that in control. The big thing, though, is we need to get information as to where it came from. Right now, we've got some idea about this market, but we don't know exactly which animal was responsible for spreading the virus to humans.
And Dr. Tambaya, it seems like now it's looking like, in terms of the causes, it goes beyond animals now, that there's limited human-to-human contact that could spread this disease. What does that exactly mean?
Yeah, so it sounds like the virus originated from the Huanan market in Wuhan. But, they closed the market, but that doesn't really help, because if the vendors are continuing to sell in other markets, then you have the unintended consequence of actually disseminating the virus. So it is important.
See, that's evidence that it could have started. It's saying it started in the markets, and that's where they were selling the polluted pig. Maybe before they knew that the pig had the swine flu thing, or they're just cheap Chinese, and they say, "Fuck it, we sell anyway. You eat, no problem. It's good for you."
Important to know the animal origin, because otherwise you get multiple introductions. So it's like whack-a-mole. You stop one cluster from happening, but then another cluster will appear somewhere else. So I think the science and the integration of the veterinary science together with the human science is critically important, so that we identify the animal, which is the intermediate host, and then we can take some steps to prevent it from re-emerging in other markets anywhere else in China or anywhere else.
So the takeaway is that they have absolutely no fucking idea what they're doing, right? So North Korea, I could play Wish You Were Here, by the way. Somebody say. What is it? So, I like this one. Mother, do you think they dropped the bomb? I'll brush up on my Pink Floyd. So this the scary part of it is that it really doesn't seem that anybody knows what the hell is going on. So North Korea is closing its borders. This is recent stuff. Chinese officials have just held a press conference and was anything but usual. The usual, okay, everything is okay. That's what Chinese people do. In China, everything okay. No problem, because they don't want to be seen as fucking up. So they say, oh, no problem, everything okay. And so now there seems to be a separating from that. A particularly ominous warning that the virus is mutating and spreading is perhaps due to the poor handling of the SARS outbreak 2002-2003, which was marked by cover-ups, the official reluctance to share information. That's how it starts, right? Because they say, oh, no problem. They're doing it here. You just heard it in Seattle. No problem. No problem. It's not a big deal. It's not going to spread. So 440 confirmed coronavirus cases in this new outbreak, 9 deaths, 1,394 patients are under medical observation. What else can we learn? A wave of panic has struck. So this is just an update. You got some, this is a cool picture. They're like they're debugging the joint. So we'll keep watching it. Right, so here's the spread. This is interesting. Here's an interesting chart. 2 cases in Taiwan. Oh man, 2 cases in Thailand. What part of Thailand's big? And ground zero is Wahong province, 258 cases. 2 cases in Shanghai, 5 in Beijing, 1 in South Korea, 1 in Japan. There's nothing in North Korea. I don't know why they're so nervous over there. And so there you have it. People, those are communal places. Taiwan, it's Taiwan people all over the place. Taiwan people travel. They're wealthy, right? Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Sterling Price. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So So what else? So let's flip the script. All right. So what's this Bernie bro shit? All right. This is every year, every time of the year. Hillary Clinton was out last night, out yesterday, talking about her that Bernie. Nobody likes Bernie. Bernie. Nobody wants to work with Bernie. Now, in reflection, Hillary Clinton said that in an interview with a Hollywood reporter. Now, in retrospect, that's actually a compliment to Bernie Sanders that nobody in Washington wants to work with him. That's the guy you want working for you. Because he's working for you. When a politician doesn't, when nobody wants to work with the crooked politicians, that's a compliment. But that's not how it comes off. It's like Hillary Clinton saying, "Oh, nobody wants to work with Bernie. Bernie bros. They're all sexist. Bernie bros." Where? Where is the evidence of that? That is a smear from 2016 that really didn't take root. When Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2016, and none of his people went along for the ride. Most of his people said, "Fuck you, we're voting for Trump," all right? Because the Democrats are corrupt and they stole our election. And Bernie went along with it. The people were not sexist. That wasn't a sexist move because Hillary Clinton was a woman. It was a move away from the corruption that Bernie Sanders had educated the people about. That Hillary Clinton was the most corrupt individual, taking the money, taking the corporate money. Right? So this here is prefaced, this Bernie bro nonsense, and this guy and now a second guy inside the Bernie campaign is revealed. To me, it's just isolated. These are isolated instances. There's nothing. There's really, and not because I'm a Sanders supporter or I believe Bernie's got the right ideas and will beat Trump if put side by side. That's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying it because it's a bad report. It's when you got two kooks out of thousands, 100,000 volunteers, and you got two radicals in there. That's not so bad, right? That's about right, right? How many radical right wingers does Trump have? Too many to count, right? He's got the Klan, he's got the neo-Nazis, he's got the skinheads, right? He's got the white supremacists, right? So it's freedom of speech. It's freedom of speech. You could be whatever you want to be in this country. You want to be isolated, you want to be supremacist, you want to be black rights, white rights. Have had it, horse. All right, so let's listen to the latest big catch. I know the right loves this because you got to smear Bernie because he's getting out in front. So here's the clip. Let's listen.
Guillotine the rich. I always said, I'm a communist. I'm ready to start tearing bricks up.
I'm ready to start tearing bricks up and start fighting. Okay.
Start fighting.
I'm no cap, bro. I'm no cap, bro.
No cap, bro. I'll straight up get armed up.
I'm straight up, I'll get armed. Okay, so what's wrong with being armed? That's the American way. You could be armed. No, there's no shame in that. I want to learn how to shoot and go train. Okay.
I want to learn how to shoot and go train. I'm ready for the revolution, bro. All right.
I'm ready for revolution, I'm telling you.
Guillotine the rich.
Guillotine the rich. Well, that's a good idea. You got only 1% of the population. That's not that unpopular. That something should be done with the rich. Maybe not the guillotine right away, but certainly take away their assets, take away their buying power. Right? Is it radical? What I'm saying is what he's saying radical. Let's listen.
So, do we just dissolve the Senate, House of Representatives?
So his name is Martin Weissenberger, a Jew, Sanders field organizer. He's a field organizer. All right? Does Bernie Sanders know him? And have Sanders field organizer, the judicial branch, and have someone like Bernie Sanders. He wants to eliminate. So we just cease. Do we just dissolve the Senate, House of Representatives?
The Senate, House of Representatives,
the judicial branch, and have someone like Bernie Sanders and a cabinet of people make all decisions for climate, that's a question.
And have somebody like Bernie Sanders and a cabinet of people make all the decisions for the climate. I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm serious.
What will help is when we send all the Republicans to the
Send Republicans to re-education camps.
Can you imagine Mitch McConnell?
Oh God, he wouldn't survive a day.
Lindsey Graham.
It's joking. He's joking. It's freedom of speech. God damn it. People in times of elections, people get emotionally wrapped up in stuff, right? This is not a gotcha. This is not a gotcha at all. So now we got to look at Veritas, Project Veritas with, you gotta look at them. You got to look at them with sour eyes now. You got to like parse everything they're gonna say. They lose credibility. Is what I'm saying.
Gulags were founded as re-education.
Right.
Gulags were found as re-education camps, right? Gulags, as far as I know, is Russian camps. They were concentration camps in Russia. Re-education camps. Okay, whatever.
The first gulag that was opened, have you heard about the Belomor Canal? People came from America to work in the Belomor Canal for the Soviet project, for the communist project. Wow. Beautiful thing.
Here's a little history of the Gulag.
And
the Gulags became a lot more political.
became a lot more political as they went on.
It was a tool. It's like a boogeyman.
You know what? We have more people in prison in this country right now than Russia did at the height of the Gulag.
That's right. We have 3 million people in prison right now. That's a good fact.
We do. That's essentially. I only learned this in college when I started studying the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was not horrible.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, for women's rights, the Soviet Union is, I think, the most progressive place to date in the world. Leave it to the Soviets to make the most badass, most effective gun in the world.
Okay, I can't believe that. Engineering, great.
The destruction, the destroyer of imperialism and colonization.
I mean, everywhere.
That's why I want to get it tattooed on me. I'll straight up get armed. I want to learn how to shoot.
Straight up get armed, right? You should be armed, right? Why not? We should rearm our citizenship. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, my assessment of this, it's not a gotcha. It's spreading, the falsehoods that Bernie Sanders is somehow radical, is somehow anti-woman, a Bernie bro, right? A Bernie smear. Right? I'm not buying it, right? So swing and a miss in my view, Project Veritas. Swing and a miss. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. We're struggling through this live stream, try to make it a regular thing here on the Marcus in the Morning. We try to do live at 5 too. We'll do maybe a live at 5 as we get closer to the election. Maybe that'll work out. So I put this one up too. Tucker Carlson said something pretty good, actually supporting Bernie Sanders in this case, and just listen to it before I comment.
Over the weekend, Bernie Sanders' campaign surrogate, Zephyr Teachout, wrote a piece pointing this out. Quote, Biden's career was bankrolled by the credit card industry. He delivered for it by spearheading a bankruptcy bill that made it harder for Americans to reduce their debts and helped cause the financial crisis.
So that's the fact. All right, so Tucker Carlson, there's a surrogate. Her name is Zephyr Teachout, who backs Bernie Sanders. And she said that Biden was corrupt. Corrupt in the sense of taking the money. Right? Now, that's the principle behind what Bernie Sanders is saying, that all of the politicians are corrupt because they take the corporate money. That makes them corrupt. They're corrupted by the money, which is fair to say. Does money corrupt? Does someone dropping $1 million on in a suitcase in your lap and saying all you got to do is sign this document, sign this piece of law, just put your name on it and hand it in, there's $1 million, right? Is that corruption? Of course it is. Do the politicians take that corruption? Do they take that money and say, yeah, give me the piece of paper and take the $1 million and walk the hell out? Of course they do it. So So Bernie Sanders' surrogate, Zephyr Teachout, is correct in saying that Joe Biden is corrupt. We hear him in his own words. You want to hear him in his own words? Yeah. Watch. Hear in his own words. Watch.
In 2008.
Your son was working for the company at the same time. In retrospect, wasn't it inappropriate for someone like you, in the middle of all this, to have your son collecting money from this big credit card company while you were on the floor protecting its interest?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, he said. So his son is on the board, and that's the whole impeachment idea, that Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's kid, was corrupted in Ukraine. And he's corrupted in this country itself. And there's your evidence right there. Does Biden think that there's a conflict of interest of having his son take money from the credit card companies while he's trying to pass legislation that curbs the activity of credit card companies? He does not see the conflict. He does not see it. So for Zephyr, I'm going to get to the point in a second, but for Zephyr Teachout, the Bernie surrogate, to say that Joe Biden is corrupt is 100% correct.
Barack Obama and led the battle to vote down Democratic amendments, end quote. Well, that's all true. Look it up. So is Biden apologizing for what he did? No, he's not. In fact, somehow Bernie Sanders is apologizing. For the crime of telling the truth about Joe Biden, the entire Democratic establishment has landed on Bernie Sanders with both feet. For days, he's been savaged by establishment robots like Paul Krugman of the New York Times. Quote, "This is really a bad look," Krugman tweeted. "It illustrates everything that makes many Democrats distrust the Sanders team, and the buck stops with the candidate." Of course, there's nothing to distrust about Teachout's column. It was factually accurate in every way. But Sanders got the message. Apologize, we will destroy your candidacy.
Apologize or we will destroy your candidacy. This is where Sanders looks weak again. This is a colossal error. The colossal error of yesterday was Hillary Clinton is saying nobody wants to work with you and you're silent. Now, Hillary Clinton is not officially running for office, but she has a big mouth and she has influence, and you have to get in front of that. What is so fucking hard to get out in front of the camera and say, Hillary Clinton, shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a loser. You lost to a talk show host in 2016. Nobody likes you. You lost because nobody likes you. You're corrupt. You take the money. You probably have a couple hundred, bodies in the bag. You lied to Congress 7 times. You got a fake foundation. You take money from Saudi Arabia. You're corrupt. You're a corrupt individual. What is so hard about saying that? That's why you lost. You lost because you're a cunt, and you lost. You lost to Trump. It has nothing to do with me. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Promptly groveled for mercy.
Right. So Bernie Sanders, rather than do that to Hillary Clinton, and rather than back your surrogate, Zephyr Teachout, and say, "Good job, Zephyr. Joe Biden is corrupt." This is what Bernie Sanders says.
Joe Biden is a friend of mine. I've known him for many, many years. He's a very decent guy. And Joe and I have strong disagreements on a number of issues, and we'll argue those disagreements out. But it is absolutely not my view that Joe is corrupt in any way.
How is it not, Bernie, how is it not your view that Joe Biden is not corrupt in any way? How is it possible that you can come out in front of the cameras and say the corrupting influence of money in politics is the root of the cause, is the root of the problem? And then Joe Biden is taking the money. He is the corporate pick. How could you say that he's not corrupt in any way? And you're also throwing one of your main surrogates under the bus. That's not very nice. That's not very loyal of you, Bernie. This is I don't know if this is worse than this is probably worse than not calling out Hillary Clinton, in my view. He's saying that Joe Biden is not corrupt. He's my friend. What are you running on, Bernie? What are you running on? Do they have a gun to your head again? What a fucking rollover, man.
Joe is not corrupt in any way, he repeated expressionlessly, a pistol faintly visible off camera. That's not a campaign message, it's a hostage tape. Taped under duress. So what's happening here? Well, simple. The self-sustaining organism that is the Democratic establishment is dumping antibodies into the system to protect itself. Bernie Sanders, like Donald Trump, is a threat to their power. Joe Biden is not a threat to their power. It's like they care about Joe Biden as a person. If they cared about Joe Biden, they would have convinced him not to run, because Biden is in no condition to be president or even to run for the job, as you've noticed. He's humiliating himself and his family. But for now, Biden is all they've got. If Hillary Clinton jumps into the race later, or Michelle Obama, Biden will be tossed aside and forgotten. They're all just vessels for temporary use. What the left cares about is regaining control of the country. That's why they'll do whatever is necessary to protect Joe Biden for now, as long as it's necessary.
See, Tucker Carlson gets it. Tucker Carlson, not always, he didn't get it before now. It's funny how the pendulum, the political pendulum, shifts, because the Tucker Carlson and Fox News are more accurate on the news than the far left right now. They're way more accurate than MSNBC and CNN. But even Tucker Carlson gets it, that Bernie Sanders he's saying in uncertain, I guess unmistakable terms, that Bernie Sanders is the favorite of the people, and he is the threat to the establishment. I hope people realize that. That's why Bernie Sanders is the pick. That's all I'm trying to say there. So you ready to yawn? This was horrendous. The impeachment stuff from yesterday was just so unwatchable, if you ask me. It was just, I watched a little bit of it.
Cruz. Mr. Gaines.
I mean, it was just so fucking boring. We'll put it on high speed.
Constitutional rights by daring to subpoena these witnesses. How dare we subpoena administration officials, right? Because Congress never does that. How dare we do that? How dare we subpoena them?
It's a little more bearable.
Well, the court heard that argument in the case of Don McGahn, and you should read the judge's opinion in finding that this claim of absolute immunity has no support, no substance.
There has never been an impeachment inquiry initiated by the House.
So the first part of the impeachment process was the politicians step up to the plate. They each get, I don't know how long, 20 minutes, a half an hour. Right? 100 senators are going to give their speech over 2 days. Who gives a shit? We already know the answer. If you're a Democrat, you say Donald Trump, the orange monster, is the worst guy in the world and he should be impeached. If you're a Republican, you say Donald Trump is the greatest guy in the world and he did no wrong and could never do any wrong. And based on those numbers, the Republicans win and Donald Trump will stay in office, and so be it.
Representatives against the President of the United States without it being authorized by a vote of the full House. And this is a principle that the Supreme Court has made.
By covering them up. Any senator who votes against Ambassador Bolton's testimony or any relevant testimony shows that he or she wants to be part of the cover-up. What other possible reason is there to prohibit a relevant witness from testifying here? Unfortunately, his son had been a board member. It was based on President Trump's express or truth, or you must permit the witnesses. Defies the law to withhold aid from Ukraine.
How many hours does this guy get?
Mr. Schatz. Mr. Schumer.
This is a good shot right here. You see everybody. See Chuck Schumer over here. Where's Bernie? There's Bernie right here. Elizabeth Warren, I think that's Elizabeth Warren's head over there. It's a good aerial shot.
Mr. Scott of Florida. Mr. Scott of South Carolina. Mr. Shaheen. Mr. Shelby.
So what I'm trying to say here is that you didn't really miss anything. This is all show, just a show trial. Right? Show trial. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Around this time too, you'll have the progressive wing of the party start to talk about, is this the end of the Democrats? Is this the end of the Democrats? Is it the 1830s all over again? Now let's just look at a little bit of history. The Whig Party, remember the Whigs? The Whig Party was a political party active in the middle of the 19th century in the United States of America alongside the Democratic Party. It was one of the two major parties in the United States during the 1830s, 1840s, and early 1850s. It dissolved in 1860 when Abraham Lincoln, who was a Whig, ran as a Republican and won, and the Whigs dissolved. So the discussion is, in progressive circles of the internet, is, will the Democrats dissolve after this election? If they lose, if they put up a shit sandwich and lose, will they dissolve? Will the Democrats go away? Now, That's different. If Bernie Sanders is the candidate, then that's off the table. The Democrats will win and revive the party. But if they cheat Sanders openly, right, are they cheating Sanders openly already? Yes. They rigged the debates where you had so many people you couldn't hear the message. Right? They rigged the rules that nobody can get to 50. Whoever, if you can't get to 50%, then 50% of the pledged delegates, then there'll be a brokered convention. And that's where Hillary Clinton or someone like, in 1968 it happened, right? That was the first time in recent history that it happened. In 1968, I believe it was Eugene McCarthy and Robert Kennedy, who was shot, right, were running, and both accumulated, a few million votes, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million votes. And there was the third guy was Hubert Humphrey, who got 0 votes. And in a brokered convention, Hubert Humphrey became the candidate of the Democrats, and he went on to lose to Nixon. That was the first time, and you remember in 1968, where half the field walked out, half of the room got up and left, just like in 2016. In 2016, the Democrats did it a different way. They just outright cheated Bernie Sanders, and then when they got up to go to the bathroom, they took their seats. All right? But in 1968, it was more of a brokered convention. So the point is that if there is a brokered convention, there's a 100% chance that the Democrats lose. And it brings up this notion again, are the Democrats done? And that's, in my view, only contingent on one thing. Will Bernie Sanders have the balls to take his people and form a new party? Is that possible in this country, a progressive party? The Democrats don't represent the base of the party anymore. The 60 or 70% in the middle of this country that want the things that Sanders is talking about, single-payer health care, universal single-payer health care, get money out of politics, cut the military budget, right? Free college tuition at city and state universities, delete student debt, right? Bring the jobs back by taxing the corporations, preventing them from selling our jobs overseas. The vast majority of Americans are for those policies, but they don't have a party that represents it. The Democrats don't represent it. The Republicans don't represent it. So if Bernie Sanders, the leader of the Democratic movement, Democratic Socialist, rises up at the end, and he would be, a rock star forever if he actually did it. If he walked out and only upon cheating, if Bernie Sanders loses fair and square, if it's obvious that he lost and nobody wants him, that's one thing, but that's not the case. It's clearly not the case. So if Bernie Sanders steps up to the plate and walks out of that convention, if he's, for example, if he gets a majority of the vote, not more than 50%, because of the cheating, they're preventing anybody from getting 50%. They're going to cheat him in California, right? But if he gets, say, 39% and Joe Biden gets 26% and Elizabeth Warren gets 15% and so on and so on and so on, whoever has the most votes wins, regardless of the 50% rule. If the Democrats go in that direction and Bernie Sanders becomes the candidate, then this play is off the, it's off the table. But it is possible, and that should be the way it goes. Whoever gets the most votes wins. It should be the way it goes, right? The most votes wins, right? And then, but no, with the Democrats, then they'll bring in superdelegates and bring other names into the mix. They can bring out another name. They could just pull a name and put a name like they did in 1968 with Hubert Humphrey and say Hillary Clinton, who didn't get a single vote. But she'll turn around and say, in 2016, I got 56 million votes, and I had 3 million more votes, the popular vote. All fucking lies and bullshit. That's what she'll do. So Hillary Clinton parachuting into Super Tuesday is not going to happen. But Hillary Clinton parachuting in to a brokered convention is very possible. It would be the end of the Democratic Party, in my view. A brokered convention at this time in our history would be, catastrophic to the party. So what would that new party look like? is always the question. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Marcus Conte reporting. I think I covered all the stories, right? I hope it wasn't too choppy. We're just getting going with this. Just getting going with this this daily live stream. I'll try to do it more often, but that's one of my fears is that the connection is a little choppy. So what else is going on, man? Thank you all for watching, and you know, that's the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes. We got SARS. We got a possibility of SARS, coming in. Let's take it out with my Sharona, man.